Island in the Sun. See what we're doing there? Ravi Baishwal in for Richard Roper today on the Rowan Roper Show. And I saw this story. Interesting that there's a gentleman who would like to put together an entertainment complex here in Chicago. It would be sun decks and restaurants, a swimming pool, and near the water, so boats could dock and people could pull up and have fun and it just make it the most exciting thing in Chicago. The problem is it's in the middle of the lake.
And he wants to be able to tow it in during the winter. Make no small plans, Ro.
Yeah, that is so true. Burning breath. So true. Beau Darcy is the man's name, and Beau is a Harvard Business School graduate and from Plainfield, and so he must know what he's doing here. We're going to find out, Beau, if you do, because I have plenty of questions for you on this. First of all, where do you want this thing to be?
So the vessel will be positioned about 1.25 miles offshore. So if you're standing where Erie and Lakeshore Drive meet, you go 1.25 miles offshore. That's where we'll be, just inside the break wall.
But isn't Erie also where that's where the Olive Park is, the water filtration plant, right?
Yep. So like I said, we're about 1.25 miles further east from that. So out past the end of the water treatment plant.
Out past that, sort of, so if you were on this thing and you're looking to your left, you would see the tip end of Navy Pier.
Correct. Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay, so you're a little further out than Navy Pier. Because Navy Pier is 1 mile out, so this would be another half mile past Navy Pier's end.
That's right, exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure. And then now, how deep is the water out there? Do we know?
It's about 15 feet on average in that area.
Wow, I would have thought deeper, but to 15 feet. And how big is your vessel here?
Yeah, so the vessel is 300 feet long and 100 feet wide, and it's about the size of a football field on the main deck itself.
What is the demand for a recreational space out there? Is it because there's all this boat traffic on Lake Michigan and they've got nowhere to go?
Yeah, I think so. There's two parts to that. The first is that Chicago has the largest municipal harbor system in the country. We've got 6,000 boat slips here. And to have such a huge boating community, there really aren't a lot of places you can take your boat to, like as a destination. And I think boaters are just looking for something to do. A lot of my friends will sit on boats in the harbor itself and not even leave their slip because it's not really, there's nowhere to take it. And then the other side of it, a lot of my friends and myself included that don't own boats, we have what we call boat envy, which we would kill to be able to go out on the lake on a boat and hang out there in the summer. But without access to a boat or buying one ourselves, there's really no great way to do that. And I think breakwater solves both those problems.
Okay, so this would be, and it's a vessel that would have restaurants on it too?
That's correct. Yep, we'll have 3 different restaurant concepts, as well as you mentioned, a swimming pool. We'll have a spa, some retail space, and then there'll be a small area that'll be a membership-based club as well.
How many decks is this thing going to be?
It's 2 levels high with a roof deck on top in some places. And the main deck is a mixture of multi-level areas as well as the pool and the main deck on the main level.
And how do people pull up to it? I mean, in their boat, obviously. I mean, swimming up to it, although that's a cheaper alternative.
It's only 15 feet.
Yeah.
We do not recommend swimming out at the breakwater.
Yeah. And so this would go to, this would take you, like people just pull up to a slip? Or do you have like floating docks off this thing? How many boats could you accommodate, I guess is the question.
So we can hold about 30 boats on our docks, and we will have a floating pier structure that's attached to our vessel that helps to safely accommodate all of those boats.
So at capacity, how many people approximately would you be able to have on this football field-sized vessel?
So the capacity of breakwater right now, our calculations are 2,850 people at a time.
So that's a pretty big party. That's a pretty big party, isn't it?
It's a pretty good size.
Does everybody have to have when you're on something like that, though, I mean, you have to have, it's a boat, right? So there has to be all the same safety equipment you'd have on a boat. It's not a permanent structure.
Exactly. You're exactly right. So we will have to have life jackets on board and life safety rafts as well. And we have to follow the full Coast Guard certifications for being a vessel, just like the dinner cruise boats or architectural boats do here in the city.
Is it going to sit out there every night? I mean, like overnight? Does it, or do you bring it back into dock every night?
No, it resides out in the anchor zone offshore for the season, and then we only relocate it for the wintertime, or if we happen to get a Hurricane Sandy, a 100-year storm rolling through, we would move it into safe harbor for that as well.
And where do you want to put this thing in the winter? See, because one of the ideas here is to keep it open all year round and move it in to somewhere, dock it somewhere where people can also use it, the indoor facilities of this as well. Where do you want to do that?
We're still kind of analyzing the different spaces that we have as options for the wintertime. We've not yet made a decision on which is the best. And just to let you guys know, we're going to actually wrap the whole thing in a clear dome so you can actually lay out at our pools. It'll be 75 or 80 degrees, and UV light comes through that cover, so you can actually lay out the pool and get a suntan here on a sunny day in January in Chicago.
That'd be something. Now, one thing I'm...
By the way, this man, let me just stop you right there, Robbie, because this man's a genius. I've been trying to dome the city for years.
I was thinking you
for January. This guy's a little mini version of me. He's going to dome, it's going to make it Miami on the lake in January. I like the idea of this.
It's a resource. Now, one thing that's really interesting about your... about this whole idea, Beau, is that you're trying to crowdsource the initial funding. Tell us about that and what kind of, what kind of enthusiasm, what kind of momentum you're building.
Yeah, it's been great. So we used Kickstarter as our crowdfunding platform, and we were selected by a program called Seed Chicago, which is a program put together by Axion Chicago, World Business Chicago, and where they highlight local Kickstarter projects that help the city create jobs in tourism, et cetera. And so far, but by lunchtime, we'd already gone past $15,000, and our total goal over 30 days is to reach $30,000. So to blow past our halfway mark in 4 hours of having this thing on, It's just been tremendous.
That'll give you money to do what? To start to put together the presentations to appeal to City Hall, that kind of thing?
Right. So we'll be
do you have to even appeal to City Hall?
I think this city,
lake.
This thing's got a lot of permits attached. It's got to be.
Why? It's
international waters. People got to get their hands in this thing.
Well, of course, but then he moves it, then he just keeps moving the thing, and then all of a sudden, Waukegan wants its hands in it. It's like
it's a jurisdictional nightmare,
right? You're going to have to appeal to the Canadian government for this. I think. It's because it's like international waters. What is the what? All right, so wait, you just started crowdsourcing today for this.
Correct, yes. And in parallel with that, we've been raising investment capital from private investors as well.
So these Kickstarter people, hold on one second. These Kickstarter
Harvard
people,
Business School.
Yes. Okay. So, but I understand. And the Harvard, not Jimmy Harvard. That's a different school. This is the people who are on Kickstarter and giving you money. What do they get for that?
So if you go to Kickstarter, you'll see there's a list actually of rewards that you can donate and acquire. So for $25, you get an invite to our Kickstarter only pre-party before we launch the venue officially to the public.
Oh, I don't want to go to the first one. No, but go ahead.
But these aren't shares.
These are not shares. You're not taking investors out of Kickstarter.
That's correct. Yeah, these are donations, and in return for that, they get some kind of a reward that we provide, and the reward
WLS pint mug.
Yeah, exactly. It might be nice.
Some bowling. Maybe some bowling.
Maybe some bowling. That would be all right. What is he? How much money do you need to raise total?
The total project budget is $23 million for the whole shoot match.
How much does the boat cost?
The vessel itself is about 3/4 of that cost between the systems, the hull, and the structure on top of it.
What if I just want to rent that boat and drive it around the lake? What if I just want to rent the vessel and drive around with a pool and parking lot?
That's entourage. It's a piece. You're driving around a piece of land.
Yeah, I like the idea of that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. All right, hold on one second, Beau. Don't move. Hold on. We'll come right back to you. Some people have some questions. 591-8900. All right, we're talking to the guy who wants to put a big floating vessel out in Lake Michigan just west of the filtration plant, east of the filtration plant, in a mile and a half off Erie and Lakeshore Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And boats could pull up to it. People could party. All those people would be floating around the bathtub or the playpen, whatever you call that thing there. Where
they'd have a place to go.
There'd be a bar and a restaurant.
People from Michigan coming all over the place, straight over here.
All right, so Beau, right before we go to the phones here, there are a couple of other questions that the people around here have been asking. Do you have to pay tax on the water? Like,
yeah.
If I'm going there, do I have to pay city tax and state tax and everything on beer?
Yes, so there is sales tax applied to sales out on boats on the lake. Sorry.
Oh, man. And then in terms of what you guys are doing, this is something that would be available when? When do you want to have this thing done?
So our goal is to open the doors at Breakwater for midsummer next year. So we're just a little over a year away from when we hope to open the doors.
Do you have the vessel built?
We do not. It takes about 8 months to build and turn around the vessel, so that's built into our schedule.
I see. All right. Okay. All right.
Looking at some renderings of this, artist renderings, I mean, it does look like a fun place, a destination on the lake, and it just strikes me that that's a lot of people to be out there, and there are going to have to be all kinds of permissions. We mentioned it earlier, permits and safety issues as well, and it would be quite a choice clientele that you'd be hoping to have out there. Would you want families, or do you want young singles, or what?
Yes, that's a great question. I think for us during the weekdays, we envision having the families out there, a wife and kids splashing around the pool on a day off of school in the summer. And then we would have more of the business travelers that are entertaining guests in town after a conference in the evening. And then on the weekends, we envision it being more of a local crowd. Folks that are local here, they have the day off of work on Saturday. They want to go somewhere fun that they can enjoy the sun and be near a swimming pool at the same time and enjoy the view from being out on the water, which a lot of folks don't get the opportunity to do.
Yeah, it is pretty spectacular when you're out there. All right, so what? But the whole kind of that young musclehead thing that happens in the playpen, you expect those people on a Saturday or Sunday to be out at your place spending money?
Yeah, we wouldn't anticipate all of them coming. I mean, the playpen is kind of its own place, its own spot, and so there's a crowd that enjoys going there, and it's perfect. Our community, our boating community that will enjoy Breakwater, we anticipate there being a lot of sailors because sailors can't even get down the river to get along to the restaurants there that have some dock space. But the boating community, the power boating community will be there as well for sure.
Philippe, you're on WLS. Hello, Philippe.
Yeah, it's Felipe, man. Anyway, what I'm saying is, since like the vessel or whatever is going to be off of the shore, off from the city, can I get drunk anywhere I want in the place, or do I got to be in the bar and restaurant specifically?
Excellent question, sir. Man after my own heart, Felipe. Yeah. What's the answer to that? Does he have to, yeah, I mean, I guess there's always a fear that he'll walk off the side of it, right? If you get away from can you drink anywhere on the boat, on the vessel? On your island?
You will be able to.
Oh, that's good news.
There'll be a part of the vessel that's reserved specifically for families where we'll prevent the alcohol from being there. But the rest of the vessel, you'll be able to move from space to space and enjoy your cocktail while you do so.
All right, here's
They'll
a question.
Have a permit for that.
Well, there's a question I think we all were asking ourselves when we heard this. Larry?
Yeah, good afternoon. Love this idea. Tell me this, Ro. How do we get the casino next to this thing? And even more lucrative for me and you, how about the human waste transfer station or whatever we're going to have to
that's
do?
a nice item.
They get the mess to the from out there back to the shore.
Yeah,
I want in on that too.
Yeah, all right. There's a guy. I'm sure he's been contacted by a guy about that already, about waste transfer. What is? How does that work? First of all, casino? No casino? Is that really big enough for a casino? Could you put slots out there?
We would be able to apply for the license like a restaurant or any other tavern in town would be able to do.
Yeah.
But as far as the full-blown gaming, that's not legal right now, so we would not be able to do so.
All right. And then what about that's a really good question. Are you going to have ferry service out to this thing for people who don't have boats, and then there's got to be a waste transfer and all that? Because I could bid on that right now.
So, there will be water taxi transport. So for folks that don't have boats, you get on a water taxi, you come out there, and you get to feel like you're part of that community. And then as far as utilities go, we have fresh water and fuel delivered as well as our supplies via a work boat, they call it. And then wastewater, we call it black water on boats, would be pumped out to a vessel and then taken to shore safely.
Okay.
They got it all figured out.
Yeah, no, I got.
He's an engineer. He's Harvard Business School.
Listen, I got a cousin who's already got that contract. I mean, he may not know he's got that contract.
Don't have to reinvent the wheel on that.
Right. No, but you got the contract. No, you're going to use my cousin for that. Don't worry about it. All right. Well, good luck, Beau.
I love the idea.
What's the name of this thing again?
Breakwater Chicago.
Breakwater Chicago. So if you go to Kickstarter, it's Breakwater Chicago if you want to invest and get a. Not invest.
Make a donation.
Make a donation. Right.
Good luck to you. Make no small plans.
Yeah. No, it's a very interesting idea. These other people want to build an island off of North Avenue, and this is kind of a nice way to start that.
It's big enough to look like a sort of rectangular island with different levels. It's pretty. You know what? Anyone who comes up with a new idea gets called crazy. This isn't necessarily crazy. They turned the river around in the city.
Okay. Yeah, well, they had to do that because everybody else was dying of dysentery. That's why they had to do it.
He's taking care of the Blackwater.
Exactly. Right, that's the name of my company, Blackwater. Blackwater Waste Removal. And unrelated to the other Blackwater, if you know what I mean.
Keep going like this. I'm going to keep talking like this.
Right, it's not a bad way to go. I'll tell you, it gets you a good seat at the Viagra Triangle at a restaurant.